Really got to rebuild ourselves within first. This life is it's a test to see how we perform, how we rise to a challenge, how we behave. And how we behave in this life will dictate what will happen afterwards.
Even Radley, after you've been in Afghanistan since 2001, after about 8 years, you are coming back again for a very interesting documentary about Muslim prisoners in the American prison over there. So what is this story about?
Well, in 2008, after more than a year of trying, I was able to go in with a film crew into Guantanamo. And when I came out after 4 days in Guantanamo Bay, I got back to Britain and interviewed an ex-detainee called Moazzam Beg. And during the course of the interview, he talked about a woman screaming in Bagram, because he was trying to say, look, Guantanamo is bad, but Bagram was much, much worse. And I said to him, I know you've talked about this woman before, but don't you think that it was a tape-recorded message, maybe a tactic by the CIA for mental torture? And he said no, and then he said that he had proof that she existed and gave me his evidences. And I was horrified to realize, my God, there is a woman in prison in Bagram, at least one, and nobody cares. I was on the front page of every newspaper around the globe when I was captured. Why? Because I was white. I was a Westerner. Possibly because I was Christian. And nobody has written about this woman. Nobody cares about this woman. Why? Because she isn't a Westerner, because she has an olive skin, because she's a Muslim. So I felt that I have to do something, and I went to Pakistan, enlisted the help of Imran Khan. We organized a press conference for 100 journalists, and I said, help me get this woman out of Bagram.
Do you know the name of this woman?
Well, I knew at that time that her prison number. I knew she was prisoner 650.
650.
And the Americans said, oh, Yvonne Ridley is fantasizing, she's making this up. There are no women in Bagram. And I continued, and of course nobody campaigns and protests like the Pakistani people. You know, they were on the streets, they were marching. After Friday prayers, they were really pulling and pushing for this prisoner 650. They wanted their sister, whoever she was, they wanted her back. And the Pakistanis started saying to me, this woman is Dr. Afia Siddiqui, a mother of three who went missing in 2003. And I'd heard about Afia, so I was saying, is it Afia Siddiqui? Then suddenly Afia Siddiqui appeared in Afghanistan in a plot which would do great justice to a Hollywood drama movie. And the Americans expected us to believe that this woman had suddenly appeared after 5 years of absence, had appeared to carry out a bomb plot. She was shot in this bizarre incident in Ghazni in Afghanistan, and then put on a rendition flight to
Pakistan?
No, to New York, and she's now standing trial on trumped-up charges of attempted murder. And when this happened, the American intelligence then released details and said, actually, Yvonne Ridley was right. Prisoner 650 does exist, but she's back in her country of origin, and she is not Afia Siddiqui. And they tried to separate the two. So I flew back to Pakistan, and I traveled the length and breadth of the country, and went to one gathering by Jamaat Islami in Lahore. More than 500,000 people were there. And I said, help me find prisoner 650. Who is she? Where is she? Help me find her. Because if she is back in Pakistan, come and tell me. Even if it's quiet, and I need to know that she is not Afia Siddiqui. And I travelled Lahore, Islamabad, Peshawar, Nowshera, through the tribal areas, Karachi. We went everywhere. And then I met Dr. Gerat Bahir, who is Hekmatia's son-in-law and was the ambassador in Pakistan when his father-in-law was in control. And he had been kept in Bagram, and he had been kept in the prison cell next to prisoner 650. And he said she was a Pakistani woman.
He confirmed it, there is a woman,
confirmed.
number 650.
So he confirmed it. There were various other different confirmations. And I said to the filmmaker Hassan al-Banna, we're going to have to go into Afghanistan. And we don't have a big budget, so we'll have to drive up. So I put on my burqa, the same one.
Yeah, but this time is for real.
And well, I went through the burqa and only announced who I was once I was in Afghanistan. And we drove up to Kabul, and then the Americans couldn't believe that I had done this, and I said, I'm coming to Bagram, and they said, we don't want to see you. And I thought, to get to the bottom of this story, I have to go to Ghazni. So the driver refused to take us there. He said it's too dangerous, so we got another driver, and we set off to Ghazni with a guide, a translator. And about an hour out of Kabul, we got caught in this gunfire. And so we stopped the car and leapt out, and I went running behind this stone building to hide from this machine gun fire. And it was actually where the Taliban were, and they were firing at police in another area. And we got caught in this firefight. They were furious when they saw this Western woman and my cameraman, and then the guide came round and he said, it's okay. It's Yvonne Ridley. She was captured by the Taliban a few years ago, and mashallah, she's now a Muslim, and thank you very much. And they took my guide's telephone number and details, and when the shooting stopped, we were allowed to continue. And about 20 minutes into the journey, my guide received a phone call from the Taliban media officer. They are now very media aware. And he said, is this really Yvonne Ridley, the woman who was captured? And he said, yes. And he said, well, tell her we are sorry for any inconvenience that may have been caused, and you will not be bothered anymore. And tell her also, thank you for telling the truth about us when she got to London.
This is wonderful.
So we were able to continue on, and we took statements in Ghazni and filmed evidence which showed us that this poor woman who had been captured in Afghanistan, Dr. Afia Siddiqui, had been deliberately shot by the Americans. She hadn't tried to resist them, she hadn't tried to fight them, and from the eyewitness accounts that we had, it was quite clear that this poor woman was back in the hands of her tormentors, but in America.
So you confirmed that this prisoner 650 is Afia Siddiqui?
Well, we were 90% certain. And we made the film, and a few days before the film was due to be released, I met Binyam Mohammed, an ex-Guantanamo detainee, the first detainee released under the Obama administration. And I asked him to watch the film, and he had been away for 7 years in Morocco, in Pakistan, in Bagram, and then Guantanamo. And he watched the film, and when he saw the images of Afia Siddiqui, he said, "That is prisoner 650. That is the woman I saw in Bagram." And that was it. We had irrefutable evidence from a man who had been tortured for 7 years because he refused to lie. So I just thought, who do you believe? Do you believe these eyewitness accounts, or do you believe an administration that lied about weapons of mass destruction?